Hi everyone, this is my review of the new Rolex Air-King reference 116900. This model was presented in March at Baselworld, and right from the start it sparked many heated discussions among watch lovers, not only because of its colorful looks. This watch in fact represents a major turning point for this historic model. Its history began near the end of World War II when Hans Wilsdorf, the founder of Rolex, provided the pilots of the British Royal Air Force with some aviation-themed watches. The Series 4365, named Air Giant, Air Lion, Air Tiger, and of course Air King. The first real Air King, though, was reference 4925, introduced in 1945. It encased the Hunter manual winding movement, and so did its successors up until reference 6552, introduced in 1953. This model was powered by caliber 1030. The most important Air King, though, I think would be the reference 5500. It remained in production for over 30 years, starting in 1957. There have been countless variations of this model, considering also the specific versions destined to the US, UK, and the Commonwealth markets. It was available with gold-filled case in 34 or 35mm, two-tone or gold-plated, and also with different movements. It housed the 15, 20 or the 1530 calibers. Because of import laws, the jewels in the 1520 were reduced from 26 to 17 for the US market. The 1530 could have 17, 25 or 26 jewels. If the dial had no writing or the precision line on it, the movement behind was a 1520. With the 1530 came the super precision writing instead. For the Commonwealth markets, it was also available an Air King date reference 5700 with caliber 1525 and 1535. In 1989, Rolex presented the reference 14000 and 14010, both with a sapphire crystal and caliber 3000. The latter reference was the first to introduce the engine-turned bezel. 11 years later, Rolex added an M, standing for modified, to these two references, accompanying the new caliber 3130, still available with a smooth bezel or the engine-turned one. In 2007, the 5 digits references gave way to the new 114200, 210 and 234. All three of them got the COSC certification, as usual the reference with the final 10 at the engine-turned bezel, but we also had the 114234 version with a white gold fluted one. So when I saw this new Air King, I thought, this is not an Air King, they have always been simple and much smaller. Then I realized that there would have been an overlapping in the Rolex range, especially with the Oyster Perpetual models in 34mm. This still doesn't explain how they came up with this, but I guess they didn't want to kill the Air King completely after more than 70 years. Speaking of overlappings, it's worth noting that the specifics of this watch are exactly the same of the Milgauss. 40mm case, 31-31 movement, 100 meters depth rating, Oyster bracelet with Oyster lock clasp and easy link, and even same soft iron inner case, for almost 2,000 euros less. So I will say it right away, I'm not convinced. I probably wouldn't have been without the Air King name on it. But with it, it's worse, since for me they went completely off the rails and tossed decades of history out the window. That said, I wouldn't be fair if I don't explain why I'm not a fan. Two reasons. First, the size. This is a 40mm watch versus the 34 of the previous generations. That is a big jump, big enough to justify a new name, in my opinion. Second, the dial. Rolex took this design straight from the instruments of the blowdown SSC, the supersonic ground missile on wheels that this year will attempt to beat the world land speed record. Well, I think that this design fits really well in the Bloodhound, but on the wrist, for me, too much is going on the dial. Since the large 5-minute markers weren't enough, Rolex decided to add a splash of color, painting the Rolex writing in green like the second hand and the crown in bright yellow. I have to say though, there are lots of people that love this design and love the fact that once in a while Rolex put out something new and different. I understand that and I agree. but I believe that to do so they shouldn't have used the Air-King name. As a matter of fact, 1945 name Air Giant would have been much more appropriate. Retail price here in Italy for this new Air-King reference 116900 is 5,800 euros. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more reviews and leave a comment to let me know what you think. Bye!